No one expected that behind the glamorous appearance and smiles at Genoa's high-class parties, there was a terrible secret that could shake the whole city. A powerful woman suddenly disappeared without a trace. A murder plot was staged to look like an accident. And an international criminal network was operating silently in the heart of the upper class. While all eyes were on the business wars, a wife, a mother, was imprisoned in the dark, facing death every minute and every hour. What is really happening in the darkness of Genoa? And who is the most terrible traitor in this story? While Genoa City is still immersed in its daily life, no one could have expected that one of the most powerful women, Nikki, was embarking on an unprecedented dangerous plan. With her keen intuition and growing suspicions about Kane's mysterious behavior, she decides to follow him herself without informing anyone, not even Victor. At first, Kane's actions seem like just busy work, late-night appointments, calls from unknown numbers, all of which can be explained in the usual way. But Nikki feels something is wrong. And that unease urges her to dig deeper, until she discovers a horrifying truth she never imagined. On a rainy night, when Kane thinks no one is following him, he leaves an abandoned building in the suburbs and accidentally leaves behind undeniable evidence that he is working for an international criminal organization. But the real shock comes when Nikki discovers that the leader of the ring is Colin, Kane's biological father, who had seemingly disappeared from the lives of many people in Genoa. Shocking. Bewildered and disoriented, Nikki was discovered before she could act. The strangers, acting professionally and ruthlessly, quickly restrained her, gagged her, and took her to a secret location. It was an abandoned villa, completely isolated from the city, where the deep and damp basement had been converted into a solid prison. Nikki was tied tightly to a wooden chair, the dim light shining on her face full of fear and resentment. She knew that she was being targeted as a dangerous witness, and that her death was only a matter of time. But what made her shiver even more was that they had prepared the perfect accident, a traffic accident that no one would suspect, or her body would be burned beyond recognition. The car was ready, the burial place was dug. She had only a few hours to live. Meanwhile, Victor was still immersed in work, thinking that his wife was at the spa or on vacation somewhere like she had said. No one suspected anything. All traces of Nikki had been erased. Her phone was turned off. Her schedule was blank. Even those closest to her had no idea where she was. While Victor attended meetings, signed million-dollar contracts, he had no idea that his beloved wife was facing the scythe of death underground, screaming in vain that no one could hear. Every minute in the basement felt like a long sentence. Nikki tried to escape, but everything was locked with a system of steel chains and thick iron doors. She was starved, left in the cold, with only the sound of dripping water and the footsteps of the guards changing shifts. Every time there was a sound, her heart clenched with fear that death had come. She thinks of Victor, of her children, of all the mistakes she has made, and prays for a miracle. But in the world of smugglers, miracles are a luxury. Elsewhere, Kane still appears calmly before everyone with a calm, elegant appearance, as if he has nothing to do with the darkness behind. No one suspects that he is secretly protecting his father's secret, a secret that could ruin everything if discovered. Worried that Nikki will tell, he agrees to let the assassins carry out the plan to eliminate her as soon as possible. For him, it is the only way to preserve everything: his reputation, his company, his family, and his future. As the clock begins to count down to the moment the car explodes, there is an unexpected twist. One of the henchmen assigned to kill Nikki hesitates. This man is a war veteran, with a daughter about Nikki's age. He felt his conscience torn. In that moment, seeing Nikki pleading for help with eyes full of hope, he decided not to follow the plan. But that action did not escape the surveillance camera. Colin quickly ordered the execution of both of them. Within minutes, the entire plan was in an emergency state. Nikki's death had to be carried out immediately, without delay. Meanwhile, Victor begins to sense that something is wrong. He tries to call Nikki but is unable to reach her. A feeling of unease sets in. He asks the security guard to check her last cell phone signal and finds an anomaly, a coordinate far from the city, a place Nikki has never been to. Without hesitation, he drives to the area himself. As Victor approaches the abandoned house, he notices signs of unusual activity. No one is around. But his intuition tells him that Nikki might be there. He quietly breaks inside. In the basement, Nikki hears familiar footsteps. She screams, pounding the floor with her foot, hoping Victor will hear her. The echoes echo, and in a fateful moment, Victor recognizes the sound. He breaks the lock on the basement and finds his wife, exhausted but still alive. Before they can celebrate, a loud noise is heard. Colin and his henchmen have returned and discovered the break-in. A gunfight breaks out. Victor, already armed, fights to the end. In the chaos, Kane also appears, torn between protecting his father and facing the truth. The battle ends when the police are called in by the former soldier who betrayed the organization to save Nikki. Colin is arrested, Kane is questioned, and Nikki is taken to the hospital in critical condition but fortunately survives. Victor sits by his wife's bedside, holding her hand in tears. They both know that the nightmare is not really over. They have escaped death, but the aftershocks will last forever, in their hearts, in their minds, and in secrets that have never been fully revealed. The questions remain unanswered. Don't miss the next breathless developments. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any shocking twists on The Young and the Restless. The biggest surprises are still ahead.